Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
What's up, Josh?
What's up?
What's going on?
I didn't get the notification again, but I learned my lesson.
We deliver rain, sleet, or snow at the crossover.
Well, and every third Friday.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we though?
There should be a tracker out there tracking how many we've missed.
I'm sure Publius already does.
Speaking of people missing podcasts, where's the new Bill Simmons pod?
He said that he'd be gone for a while.
Yeah, he does this. He takes the summer break.
Yeah. This is like, I mean, in fairness, there's no football or basketball, so are there even sports right now?
They're not, and I respect it. I respect not forcing it. Just, if there's no content, there's no content.
They'll do an Olympics thing about how Anthony Edwards is the GOAT or whatever.
About how finishing in fourth place and failing to medal last year completely transformed his career.
Some media guy today was like, he actually leads the team in scoring. And it's like, they've played 3 games and they're doing a hockey substitution pattern. They're all playing like random minutes.
And they're exhibition games.
Right.
They're meaningless. Okay, we already have a title here. From Stiff. All right. So, let me
Mailers and announcements.
welcome everybody to the show. Today is Friday, July 19th, 2024 on the crossover. And we start with mail days and announcements. I have no mail days. Do you have any mail days?
No, but I have an announcement.
Let's go. Announcement, baby.
All right. We pushed this live yesterday to the website. Let's see here. So, Enterprise API. If you have a business and you are interested in card ladder data at scale, let us know.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, if you want to learn a little bit more about it, you can go to the website, and then there's a contact link from there.
Yes.
So, all right. Any other announcements? Just that maybe we should give a final reminder of our one of the trade nights that we're involved with at the National, which is Thursday night.
Friday.
Sorry. Friday night is the Card Ladder sponsored trade night. And what are the times?
6 to 11
6 to 11 immediately after the show.
in the basement.
On Friday.
On Friday. In the basement of the convention.
Do you
center,
know what booth number we are?
Yeah. Show floor or in the trade night? Because we have 2 booths.
The show floor.
7126.
7126.
We will be right across from the main stage. And don't worry, I bought head. What are they called?
Earplugs?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Where is that? Let's see.
It's in the case break.
You said 7126.
Yep.
These are tiny 7126.
It's literally right across from the main stage. Like, we're looking right at the main stage.
Case breaks 7126. So we're down here.
Totally understand if nobody wants to come to that booth.
Oh, look, we're close to V-Friends. And
Nice.
PSA, our other company, is over here.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that show floor plan coming together.
Oh. We've got some company around us
Who
here.
else is by us?
You don't want to know.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
We'll be able to see all the sweet trades going down.
Please stop by the if you get tired and want to take a load off, we'll have chairs. We also have chargers.
Chairs and chargers, that's right. And candy.
And we will have phone chargers. So as the day progresses and you start losing your charge.
Yep, chairs and chargers. Yes,
yes
indeed. And candy.
Another great part about our booth, we are going to have absolutely zero pressure on anyone to have to be in a video or be filmed or be in content or say something clever. You can literally just relax.
Yep, you can relax.
Because we're professional relaxers.
We've gotten pretty good at it. We have gotten not bad at it.
Come challenge us.
All right. Okay. Let's get to the.
We are literally the closest one to the stage. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's good. That's the real test of the relaxation.
That's why I have earplugs.
Maybe we should go on that stage at some point.
We can take over the main stage.
All right. Let's go. Okay, let's get to some questions. By the way, the questions this week, I did have somebody message me and say, "Man, some real doozies this week." So I don't know. I guess the questions were a little lackadaisical, just like us. Just like us. All right.
Pre-national, man. People are just like ready to start, you know?
Pre-national fatigue.
Is that a thing now?
It may be. All right. So I have organized these questions into 3 topics up front and then just a general question pool. First topic is the national, obviously. So the Jordan Exchange has this question. What does the data show? Is it just a tall tale that you should not sell cards online during the national because there are less buyers? Because I'm thinking of listing some cards next week during the national, but my auction house rep advised against it. So in preparation for this question, I pulled up the industry tab on Card Ladder. So anybody in Card Ladder can access this tab. This tab is called the industry tab. And then within it, there is a section at the very top called monthly volume. And I think this is a decent way to start thinking about this question. So last year, obviously, the National was in July of 2023. And there was a total sales volume in the online secondary market for trading card singles that was 182 million. June was 177 million. May was 175 million. So you have roughly an equivalent sales volume for 2 months leading into the national and the month of the national. And then the month following the national, the sales volume actually surged to 217 million, which is substantial. A factor in that was Heritage's big auction that they ran last year that ended in August, and that can be a factor that pushes sales volumes up or down in a given month in an inconsistent fashion. But overall, it doesn't look like the sales volume really changed very much from the 2 months before the national to the July of 2023.
I was looking at the August. You mentioned the Heritage, but I was thinking more supply is going to come online in August after the national because there's more circulating at the show and more will show up online. So if you sell it during the national or before, you might be competing with less supply.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think it can just like change too. I think 1 year it might. I think this year, being in Cleveland, there's probably just going to be less people spending money at the national and more people at home, maybe FOMOing into some online purchases.
Don't you feel like the more that we're in this business, the more we notice like how little things affect the greater market?
Yeah, it all just kind of smooths out in the end.
Like it all just cards sell and they sell for what they sell for, and
exactly. That reminds me of. So I bought a card last week that I'll have for the next crossover, hopefully. Supposed to be delivered soon. And the reason why I bring this up is because I lost the auction. I was asleep at the wheel. I forgot about it. I lost the auction. The card sold for about $8,000 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it didn't get paid. So it relists, and then when I win it, it goes for $11,000. So even within a 2 to 3 week period, you can have an auction end that doesn't get paid, and the people like me who like really wanted it are asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
And then it sells for 30-40% more 2 weeks later to a silly person like myself who is overpaying. So so in other words, though, you can get that much variance in an auction price over just a 2-week time period. All right, that's the point. The price can fluctuate that much under the same seller, same card, same picture, same format, same everything. Huge difference from 2 weeks, 2 weeks in between. So
Even just adding 1 or 2 buyers moves it that much.
Absolutely. Yeah, Perimeter says I got shilled.
I was thinking what Christina was. Well, I didn't want to mention it, but I bought a $12,000 card this week. So
nice.
That's more than an 11, I think.
It wasn't even the 11 part. It was the I was asleep at the wheel. I missed out on this card that I want, but it came back out like do you know how many people wish that the card that they wanted that they fell asleep at the wheel went back up for auction? Like that was what I was saying was a humble brag. Was I fucked up, but look, I still got the card. Ha ha ha.
Yep.
Well, it was a non-paying bidder at $8,000, and then you wanted 11. Sounds like that $8,000 guy came back for seconds.
Yeah, he probably did. All right.
It's definitely a 1 of 1 though, right?
It is. Yes, it is.
It's not a PMG. Those are trash now.
Oh yeah, there is a question about that later, so
I know. I know.
I'll hold up. Yeah.
I know that.
I'll hold up on the trash PMGs. All right. Another question about the National from Carlson Cards. What should the rest of us do at home who are not at the show? Should we spend time with family?
Never.
Yeah, let's not go crazy, Carls.
He's not going to be there?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to be there.
They're just like, Cleveland sucks, I'm out of here?
Yeah. Yep, I think...
I have the answer to this. I've given the answer to this a couple weeks in a row. I'll do it again. The answer to this question is to rage watch content you hate about the National and just actively hate all of it and just lean into it.
That's great. Yep. That'll take care of a lot of things.
Watch all your least favorite content creators that you know will be there.
All right, in our final National related question from J Duke Cards 2, what are the most comfortable shoes? Eyes Wide Shut DM'd me on this question and said the Yeezy 350s.
Can I just say, if you're gonna wear slides, are you listening?
Yep, okay. You got my attention when I heard slides.
You gotta wear socks.
Socks with the slides.
Please.
Yeah, we're not trying to see those hairy toe knuckles.
It's more the toenails for me.
Oh, yeah. We don't want to see that yellow fungus nail.
Like, I'm just walking around, I look down, it's like,
Yeah. So alternatively, get pedicures. Just get pedicures, and then you can go sockless.
I'm not sure there's many options for that in Cleveland. We'll see.
Yeah. Yep. All right. The next topic we have, I can't believe how we got 4 questions on this topic.
Oh, wow.
And not a big fan. No, it's just a little off the path for us because it has to do with comics and comics and magazines, which, is a little bit... I believe the call for the question said sports card topics, but that's okay. We're going to do this. So I'm just gonna read all these questions together, and then we'll give a reply to whatever parts are most interesting. So the first question is from Tasty Card Sandwich. He says, I have a card adjacent topic. Okay, all right. I guess we'll allow that. PSA has announced getting into comic grading, and I'm honestly surprised that it took this long. But CGC has a stranglehold over that world. Do you think comic people will accept PSA or stay loyal to CGC? Geechee Cards follows up and says, PSA will also be grading magazines, which CGC already does. Do either of you see more than a niche market for graded Sports Illustrateds? Raw Double Cards says, PSA grading comics and magazines. Let's talk about it. And MXP Fernandez says, with PSA entering comic book grading, will there be a comic book ladder coming soon? So anything you want to address there?
Yes.
Can I ask a question first?
Sure. Let's make it 5.
What?
Go ahead. Yeah, it'll be the 5th question on this topic.
Okay. Why is it called PSA comic grading or magazine? Like, PSA is for sports, isn't it?
Professional Sports Authenticator?
Yeah. Like, shouldn't it be like PCA?
PC, maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not sure what it's officially called.
PCMA? Like, comic/magazines authenticator?
This doesn't start till 2025.
Okay.
So can I put in a request then? Like, is this where I put in the, like, what are those called? Like, the anonymous?
The tip?
Anonymous tips?
The suggestion box?
Yeah, the suggestion.
Just text Nathaniel.
I don't have his number. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. All right, what do you have, Josh?
My first reply, this is embarrassing. I thought they were already grading comic books, so
No, that's bats.
They graded bats. My bad.
And video games.
And balls.
And
balls.
Funko.
And maybe gloves?
Funko Pop.
Funkos? Type 1s?
And coins.
They're grading
Coins.
everything. They're grading anything but comics.
Yeah, it was only right that comics would eventually come along.
What's my answer to new grading companies? Always. What do I always say about this?
Give me free credits and I'll shill for your new grading company.
I can't play favorites. I always say that new entrants into grading always have to fight an uphill battle because the thing that people like most about grading is the pop reports, the history of it, the amount that's already been graded. If I have a PSA 10 pop 1, it has more meaning when you have a higher population. So it's going to take PSA a long time to get into that space and actually make a dent. But I mean, PSA is so dominant in cards that it'll be a little bit easier for them than it would like a brand new company. But it will take some time.
Absolutely. Yeah, but clearly people are interested. So then it's like, do you see more than a niche market for graded Sports Illustrateds? That's a topic that just sort of stood out to me because there's a belief. I remember when, not saying that magazines are the same as VHS tapes, but I do remember when the VHS pump was on, and the belief was very strongly that if Powerhouse Grading Company ever decides to grade VHS tapes, the introduction of pop reports, the standardization of condition assessments, and the stratification into tiers of the quality of the different versions of the same VHS tape will, spark a market, and it will supercharge a market. So I see echoes of that in this question. Like, hey, if the biggest grading company in sports collectibles gets into grading magazines, is that going to spark a market for Sports Illustrated?
So Becca gave up on VHS tape?
I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
We obviously don't know anything about comics, but just like this is like my stupid baseball commentary. But aren't you supposed to like read the comic books? How can you do that if it's encased in a plastic hellhole?
Maybe like throw the comic on the copier machine and like make a black and white copy of it or something. and then you slab it. I don't know. I agree. Yeah.
No, because then you'll bend the binding and it'll grade worse.
Okay. Yeah. Functionally, the slab definitely prohibits the main use case for the magazine.
Am I allowed to give free tips to this space, Christina?
Can he give some free tips?
Yeah.
I would do a QR code on the back of the slab that takes you to like a digital version of the comic book or something.
That would be cool.
Nice. All right. Comics and magazines.
I don't think people who collect comics graded.
Jose says a QR code linking to a digital copy of the comic. There you go. Or the magazine.
Isn't that what?
Oh, was that just a repetition of what Josh was saying?
That's literally what Josh just said.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I see. All right. Yeah, there you go. That is we are delivering a lot of bang for the buck on this show today. All right. Let's move on to the final topic here. The topic that's pissing a lot of people off.
All right. Yes. Yeah. Let's go.
But you're going to be a little disappointed because it's a little outside of our collective wheelhouse.
Nobody cares about baseball, Chris.
Is it influencers? Because I feel like that's because a lot of people off.
That's a constant. This is a new irritant.
Oh, okay.
So Heat Collector says, let's discuss CT scanners and buying packs. Hot Sauce Sports Card says CT scans. How about you check my brain after I buy a Flawless box? And the GOAT Card says, will CT scanners be in Card Ladder soon? So the basic background on this was a few weeks ago, maybe even a month or two ago. An Instagram account showed what purports to be CT scans of Flawless cases, and apparently these scans can identify certain characteristics of cards through the briefcase, like such as, you know, is this a logo man or not? Is this a shield or not? So you can see at least certain things. Apparently, there it is. Josh has here, and he's shown to the audience, images of the scans of the Flawless case. And so yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's basically what's going on here. And you can see what type of foul play can flow from this, obviously. So Dan the Cardman likened it to pack searching, except perhaps even more egregious. And that does feel like the right comparison, but I do think it's a bit worse. But so one of the things that can happen, like, okay, so what are some of the practical ways that this can play out? Well, one of the ways is that a CT scanner could be used by somebody who purchases a ton of cases, or even a few cases, and they identify the ones that they can be certain have Logo Man or Shield cards in them, which are great cards, and they set those to the side. They keep those for themselves, and then the rest of them they resell back to the market. You know, they put them on eBay, or they sell them to a retailer, or, you know, they send them to a different auction house. And so they're, you know, so what's the issue? What's the biggest problem with people doing that? Well, one of the big problems is that they are misrepresenting the product that they're sending back to the market. So the concept behind a sealed product, a sealed case, a sealed box in the sports card industry, the concept behind it is that it's random and that it has an equal chance to get as any other box to get the contents that are described inside of it. But if somebody has scanned the contents and has been able to rule out that certain items are not in it, and then they send it back to the market without disclosing that they have determined or ruled out that certain contents are not in that box, you can make an argument that that's a fraudulent misrepresentation. And so they could be in legal hot water, theoretically. not legal advice, just an opinion. There could be some fraud issues there. And then there are moral and ethical issues that obviously flow from this as well, such as you're deceiving people. You know that the best cards aren't in there, and you're still sending it back to the market and not letting people know that. So that's one of the concrete problematic use cases there. What do you think about this, Josh?
This is horrible, obviously. Aren't CT scanners like really expensive?
Oh yeah, so that's one of the things I did. I went and I looked it up, and I saw one website said like CT scanners run from 80,000 to 300,000. Another website said they run from 240,000 to 450,000.
And they're huge.
You're not buying like the scanner. What you're doing is you're making friends with a technician or a security guard at a medical facility who will let you come in after hours to scan pallets of card boxes so that you can defraud or like you can defraud like your customers. Like that's what this is. Also, like I don't want my cards to be radioactive.
So people are gonna like pretend to have knee injuries, and then while they're in the machine and the doctor steps out, they're gonna like pull out their exquisite case and put it on their lap or something. Oh, how'd that get there?
Yeah. It's
this is crazy, man. Like people, we were worried about people using prepaid debit cards on eBay to shill. Like now, people are buying hospital grade CT scanners. This is a bit much.
Yeah, you know the criminals criminals might be a bit strong, but the agitators have graduated from feeling up packs in Walmart to see if there's a heavier card in the pack, because there might be a patch card that's worth a few bucks more than the base card in the retail offering. We've graduated from that to now the agitators are using high-tech, state-of-the-art medical equipment to suss out Logo Man and shield patches.
So it's gonna be like, you know how NATO has like nuclear people who like go around to different countries that shouldn't have nuclear weapons and like looks at their warehouses and like their labs and they're
inspectors?
Like, yeah, it's like and they're like, but they go through and they're like, okay, like you're okay, you're not okay, like they're like manufacturers are gonna have to go through like breakers shops and be like, do you have a CT scanner in the back of your like brake facility?
Weapons of CT scanning?
Yeah,
not good.
I remember in the old Pokemon cards, like the original first edition base set, you can weigh those packs, right? You can determine if there's a hollow inside of it because they weigh a little bit more. So when you sell them on eBay, people would say like, I weighed these, and you're going to get one pack that has a hollow and two that don't, etc. And they'll like show the scale in the eBay photo of what the weight is, so like they can guarantee you're going to get a hollow. So I hope we don't have to get to that point. Just like your eBay listing is like CT scan to have a Logo Man. Let's go.
There's a sudden increase in the incidence of sports card breaker outfits that have knee injuries or whatever merits a CT scan.
Well, we don't have any sales in Card Ladder yet with CT scan in the title, so we're good.
Oh, that's funny. That's the Flippers angle on this, is like, oh, I'll start marketing my product as my repurchase boxes are CT scanned hot Logo Man box.
Who had the original photo for that box? Like, where did that come from?
An account. The one that I've seen is an account in China that documents big hits coming out of breakers in China.
They caught the person with the CT scans, or the person who did them came out with it?
I have no idea what the source of those visuals are, or if anybody's been found out. So,
well, reason number 712, I don't deal with breaking and opening.
Well, this goes back to a point that you made on the last show, which is how important it is that when people buy into a break or they buy a box, that there is a legitimately even and fair and equal chance for each person to get the best cards. And if that is, if that is sacrificed, it's a really, really big blow to the legitimacy of buying sealed products. So I'm sure that as this topic makes the content rounds and people who are more intensely focused on buying product than you and I discuss this, that it'll make its way across the desk of the corporate entities in the hobby that need to find ways to fix it.
Like wrapping it in some sort of anti-CT scan bag.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Or maybe a mass propaganda campaign to spread awareness about radiation from excessive exposure to CT scans.
Can we just save the CT scan sessions for all the people in this hobby that have head injuries? They need them more than the people need these to scan the boxes.
That's right. This is an immoral use of CT scan capability.
Yeah, these are.
Go ahead.
They're meant for the health industry. This is bad.
Yeah, like they're probably not paying for it, right? Like this is all off the books too. If they're going to a medical facility, which means that like it's going. These are now going to be baked into everyone's insurance prices because they're going to have like additional CT scans that like the hospital has to pay for, and they don't understand why it's happening.
Yeah.
Do you remember the episode where Dwight gets a concussion and they take him to the hospital? And it's the one where Michael also burns his foot on the grill, and Dwight's in the CT scan machine, and Michael tries to stick his foot in so they can scan his foot because he thinks he's more important. That's gonna be like their guy's gonna be sitting there like shoving a box of cards while someone's getting a brain CT scan.
Yeah. Brendan Ryan says, have you ever noticed the lack of good, wholesome news in the hobby?
The hobby or this is everybody, man.
Yeah. Well, like, especially in the realm of the primary customer of boxes, it's a very fun and exhilarating experience when it goes well. But when it doesn't go well, which is most of the time, it's really frustrating. And when a piece of information like this leaks, and we don't have any evidence that there's been widespread use of this, or, well, maybe people could say there is some evidence of it. Maybe this is related to, people having a higher incidence of hits is because they're somehow filtering the cases and selling off the bad ones and keeping the good ones. But there isn't any direct evidence yet that this is happening on a wide scale. And even still, the prospect, the thought of it is really, really aggravating for somebody who genuinely is just buying into a break, and they're under the impression they're going to have a fair chance to get the big hit. And then news like this comes out, and you can quickly connect the dots to say, I maybe never had a fair chance, or I didn't have a fair chance in some of the instances. And I think that's like, that is an existential threat to the well-being of the primary customer in the direct to customer model of selling boxes and breaks and stuff. So I would hasten a response and a fix to this. All right, let's get to the rest. So first up, we have Drake's PC. Drake says, when a player that you collect has so many great cards across multiple eras, such as the 90s, the 2000s, Exquisite, Ultimate Collection, etc., as well as Panini era products, how do you prioritize your next edition when multiple great, rare, and scarce cards all become available at the same time?
I usually go for the rare, more expensive earlier. That usually works out better in the long run. What about you?
Same. it can be a useful exercise to develop. You can either sort of like have a loose idea of what the best cards are of your player in your mind, like a sort of hierarchy of what you think their best cards are and how they rank, or you can get more serious about it or more rigorous with it and develop a spreadsheet and try to come up with a method for objectively ranking and determining what the best cards are of your player. And then that can help guide you if this dilemma or trilemma or however many different cards you have to deal with comes up at the same time. Perimeter is wondering what player could that be. All right.
I think he's in your avatar.
JGP45 says, how much time must pass without a single card purchase or box purchase before somebody is no longer considered to be a part of the hobby?
Wow. They're just gone? They're not allowed to be in it?
Jose wants a clear line. Maybe there's somebody he's looking at kicking out, but he needs to know if enough time has passed.
By that logic, Chris, I think we got to kick out like 90% of the content creators. That's not good news for them because they've never bought a card.
I was going to say, like, they never had a card to begin with.
Bad news.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is that I think about this question is, what if you haven't bought a card or a box in a while, but you have like a big PC?
Yeah.
Then what? So I think you have, Jose, I think there needs to be a third dimension here. And the third dimension is you haven't bought a card or a box and you don't have any other stuff to your name. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a function of how many times you actually look at and enjoy your cards without onlookers, without the spectacle of showing them, just to enjoy them for yourself.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, you're in the hobby.
Yeah, I think he answered his own question. He said, could it be a spiritual question when your heart is no longer in it? I think it's kind of like, when you're not in it anymore.
Yeah. And people come and go. People's heart can be in it, then they find interest in other things, and then they come back. That happens. That certainly happens.
Like when they leave for NFTs and then they come back.
All right, this is from Cardi C Sports Cards. He says, what do you think of the PWCC to Fanatics Collect rebrand? Is it good or bad for collectors?
Good or bad for collectors? Well, this is their new site.
Yeah.
Their new logo. I don't see how it could be bad. I mean, PWCC stands for like pre-war cards, right? It's already like kind of a strange name. People have just called it PWCC for short because they obviously don't. They do a lot more than pre-war cards, and now they're trying to line up with their Fanatics brand. It makes sense.
Yep. And plus, the word "collect" is now in the title.
There you go.
So that can only mean good things.
Well, technically, PWCC stood for Pre-War Card Collector because it was an eBay username originally, and then it became a consignment, and then it became an auction house. So, like, there was a collector.
And collector might be more collector friendly than collect.
Yeah.
Can I give another tip?
Yeah.
I'm just handing out free. Now I'm handing out free web advice. I'm not sure what's going on with the new site, but they're having issues where some of the images are incredibly grainy and small, like this one. You can barely see it. So, folks over at Fanatics Collect, you might want to fix that.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of controversy associated with the PWCC name as well.
In terms of?
In terms of, for example,
look at this. The fuck?
Yeah, that's a really tiny image. One of the areas that PWCC was associated with was selling trimmed cards back in 2019-ish. So a lot of people felt, they were really pushed away from buying and selling on PWCC for a while because of the risk of coming into possession of a trimmed card, or or if they did come into possession of one. So
Did that fade with new ownership, or you think this is kind of finalizes that and gives them a fresh start?
I think this builds another bridge. Like if you have PWCC Island right here, new ownership was one bridge to like a new landmass, and then this is another bridge to a new landmass. So now we're 2 islands removed from PWCC Island, which is probably good.
That's a good caption.
But it also but it also relegates the name of PWCC permanently to the dustbin of sports card history.
Next to
20 plus grading companies, like GAI is one. There's so many defunct grading companies, actually.
There's a lot of defunct, like liquidity marketplace type things as well. NFT brands.
Next to the shit beast.
No, that's still like a penny.
That's right. That's ramping up, I heard. All right. I wanted to find my list of defunct grading companies. Yeah, so like HGA is still going.
Yeah.
Amit says HGA. Jose says the term BWIC. You have SCD, GAI, CEX. Is FGS still going? Forensic grading? They might be.
Yeah.
PGI, CSA, KSA, EGS, AGS, BSG, TFA.
What happened to ISA? Remember that one?
ISA, yeah. They may still be going. Some of these that I'm naming may still be going, but some aren't for sure. There's a lot.
These guys will never go away.
No.
They'll always be digitally marked on the internet.
They outlasted PWCC.
Well,
But, yeah.
if we're to believe that the NFT is on the blockchain, these are going to outlast everything.
Right. Yeah. Blockchain is forever. Okay, so I haven't perceived much of a change here between PWCC and Fanatics, except for the new name.
Right.
There was significant personnel turnover,
Right.
but that happened a while ago. But like in terms of like last month to this month, I think it's pretty much the same thing, just has a new name on it. All right. From Doug J. Cards. If a card grades higher than you expected, does it make you want to sell it more, or does it make you want to keep it more?
If it's like a high pop card, sell it more. Or like it's a low pop, but like a more common card.
Yep.
Like, I was expecting a 9 for my PC, but it's a 10. I'd rather sell it and buy other cards.
Yeah, sell it, get the 9, and
yeah,
get a few other 9s.
Right, but if it's like a rare card, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was first reading this, I kind of leaned towards keep, because like the card has been enshrined with or it has been verified by a third party as having a better condition than I expected. So it's like a better version of what I thought I had. Like the better the card gets, the more I want to keep it, generally speaking.
Right.
But the smarter move, more disciplined move, is probably to say, I can deal with a lower grade, and maybe I can get a little more bang for my buck if I sell and move along. Okay. From Cage Lawyer. Cage says, let's talk about Breaker's Delight and why Cage is right yet again.
He did that on purpose?
Do you know what he's talking about here?
No, they had the word breaker in it, so definitely not.
Yes, it's a lot of breaker talk today. The topic is Cage has been highlighting the fact that I think it's the new Topps Chrome baseball product has different versions. There's versions that go only to breakers. There's hobby versions. There's other SKUs. And there are Ken Griffey Jr. cards, I think Ken Griffey Jr. autograph cards that only appear in the Breaker's Delight version. And apparently it wasn't very well known, or maybe it was totally obscured prior to release, that you could only get the Ken Griffey cards in the Breaker's Delight product. There apparently was some sort of disconnect between marketing and product, and people didn't know that you can't get the Ken Griffey cards in the hobby version. And even if you did know that you can't get the Ken Griffey cards from the normal hobby issues, that you can only get the Ken Griffey cards from the Breakers version, it's upsetting to people because, like, people in this hobby love Ken Griffey. They got excited about this new card, and turns out that you can only get access to this card if you're a breaker, and the only customer who can get access to it, at least in terms of hitting it from a break, are people who are buying into breaks. So that's the issue, and Cage is, I think, rightfully driving home the sort of discontent that everyday collectors are having with this. Any thoughts?
Reason number 729. I don't know, man. All of this news every week is bad for breaking.
Yeah.
I guess this is good news for breaking. I don't know what to make of that. Again,
Yeah.
It's like you said it already earlier in the show. The whole point of all this stuff is like the fairness of pulling a card out of a box. That's like what it all comes back to. That's what we all are rooted in, starting in the 50s, like 40s. The tops boxes, you get specific cards. You have randomness to it. Then in the 90s, everyone has an equal chance to pull a PMG green out of a random box they buy at the mall. It just is becoming more and more of this like money-making machine of buying into a break and getting a card and grading it and vaulting it, and I don't know. I'm just not interested in this topic.
Yep. Cage is documenting it quite thoroughly, though.
He's very, very pissed about it.
Oh yeah. Yep, he's got a new podcast about it, and he's been talking about it on his Instagram story as well.
Is it just this? Just this one card so far?
It's the Griffey card is the crux of the issue. Yeah,
the face of this.
Yes, and even a few content creators apparently have lifted Cage's content without any credit given.
Oh, I've been there, buddy.
Which is always poor form. That's just an FYI. As a content creator, it can only do you a service. It can only improve your content and your relationship with other content creators if you are borrowing or taking inspiration from an idea from somewhere, to just acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It's just a better path.
I think I saw like the 30th content creator reshare my Goodwill LeBron story this week without credit. So
that one was so amazing because it had been pointed out to some of them earlier, like, hey, why don't you just throw Cardboard Chronicles a shout out? So in this iteration of it, they just, instead of just being like, hey, see the original story on the Cardboard Chronicles YouTube channel from 5 or 6 years ago, or however long ago it was, instead of leaning into that, they just cut you out. And they just show the other parties. Like, oh, okay, well, I guess.
Well, they're more impressed. They're more impressed about the monetary gain from the Goodwill box to selling it to me than me buying it to today.
Yeah, and they have zero interest in the fact that you still have it.
Well, I think it's just like very assumed that the person who bought it from them has like long flipped it to someone else, and it's gone through the vortex, because all of those stories are, hey, I found this collection and I went through it and I helped them consign it all and sold it. So that's the end of the story.
We would need to roll out the CT scan machine to examine the brains of these content creators when they found out that you actually kept the card.
I still have it.
01 and 50.
Yeah.
One slabbed is the Goodwill LeBron.
Yes.
All right. The card bearer would like to know, why are ugly cards priced higher than better looking cards? For example, J.C. Penney Prism NBA, which I don't know what that means. J.C. Penney Prism.
Is that photo shoot?
Oh, okay. Photo shoot. Nice. Okay. All right. So
well, that's because it's the Wemby, right?
yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so the Wemby is like a concrete example of this, where the Wemby Prism card has the curtains and the high school basketball floor. And why is that? The question is, why is the Prism Wemby more than the action shot from Select or something? Do you have any thoughts on this?
Because Prism destroys Select, and it's not a 1-to-1. It's not a fair comparison. I mean, if you like actually remove all the variables except the look of the card, I would think that it's like the gold wave versus the gold. The gold looks better, and it crushes the gold wave. Everything else on the card is the same.
Yeah. This reminds me of questions we used to get a few years ago when the market was ripping a little bit more.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Because the questions would be, why is such and such grading company less, or why is this brand so much less? And look, I mean, if you have conviction that of two things, if you have conviction that one, aesthetics matter, and I think they do, and you also have the conviction number two that you have identified a clearly better looking card than another card that's more expensive, that's value. That's value. That is an opportunity waiting. And I think you'll find that there are tons of places where when we think about what our collecting philosophies are and we see if the market lines up with them or not, there are tons of places where our collecting philosophies diverge from what the market says in ways that are favorable to us. Cards that we think are great are cheaper than cards that we don't think are as great. And that has to feel good to identify those and pick up those cards. But a word of caution. There have been plenty of times when I've thought that I had the right opinion and the market had the wrong opinion, and the market never changed. Just the market kept on being the market, and I kept on having my opinion, and still got a great value on the card, but the card never got the credit that I thought it should have. I think one of the things that I try to do, but not do too much, is have my antenna tuned to the frequency of the market. I still need to be an original thinker, but I also need to understand what people like and what people are most willing to spend money on.
Yeah.
All right. From Victory Investments, will Josh be a LeBron-only collector to the grave, or will he ever branch out?
Man, Todd Gurley just gets no love. That guy.
Gurley, man, he gets a raw deal on all this.
Still buy his stuff.
Yeah, and you may have PC'd a player or two outside of LeBron during your heyday, so.
I think that's what he's asking. Like, would I do one of those again?
How do you feel about doing that? Do you feel more content with a PC that's more centrally focused on just one or two players?
Yeah, I just like for me, my sweet spot is like super high-end, super rare LeBron, or like where I can have the best PC of a guy.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like being in that middle ground. The middle ground being like a good player, a Hall of Fame potential player, and having like their top 5, 10 PC or something like that. I think I'd rather just like have the best Todd Gurley PC or some rando guy.
Do you ever get tempted to just bundle up your entire Gurley PC, send it into auction, and like buy a nice LeBron with it?
No, it's so many cards. I would only be able to get like one decent LeBron.
Yeah.
Like that LeBron that I buy would barely crack my collection where I wouldn't want to sell it,
Yep. I hear you. Did you feel like too spread out, too spread thin when I'm looking for Chris Paul cards, and I'm in the market for Anthony Hardaway, and I'm in the market for LeBron, and I'm in the market for Todd Gurley all at the same time?
Yeah, I just I don't have the same like enjoyment of risk that you do watching live guys
Yeah, I get that. I definitely get that.
I guess I wouldn't be worried about McCaffrey, but like Purdy and Luca, those guys are still pretty young. It just makes me nervous. And I know you do it because you like watching them and you like having the cards while you watch.
Yep.
I just am more of a pussy, I guess.
No, just different risk appetite in different ways too. I find that even when I have a PC that's like spread out among multiple players, I'm really only focused on one or a maximum of two players at a time, and then like the other PCs just kind of wait.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll rotate back to focusing on one of them. So
I would love to get into, like, I started looking into Shea for a while.
Okay. Yep.
But then it's like one of his cards sells for like 80 grand or something. It's like, come on, 80 grand. Like, I like, and then I really wanted that Justin Jefferson finite. I watched the receiver show. Justin Jefferson's awesome. I've always liked him.
Yep.
His freaking finite sold for like 45 grand, and like CD Lamb sold for like 10 grand. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like the guys that I like, apparently everybody likes. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing this wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge problem. That's why I'm sticking with one Purdy card because they're already too.
Like the way that you had built up the McCaffrey PC, you did it in like it wasn't super expensive. But then when you did get to the point of like, I've already got this much, I gotta finish this thing off, and I gotta get these. That makes more sense than like trying to buy the Justin Jefferson finite to start for 45 grand. It's like, well, now I guess I'm a Justin Jefferson super collector because I just bought a $45,000 card. This is crazy.
Yeah, you're like the face of Justin Jefferson collecting overnight.
And I'm just not sure that I want it. I just wasn't ready for that. Whereas, like, I spent $400 on my most expensive Todd Gurley card.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah,
who cares?
Yeah, and you can like relax. You can professionally relax and enjoy just having like I've seen some of your like patch auto one of ones and stuff of Gurley, and you can just enjoy those cards. Like
I think I have like 32 one of ones, something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Don't you have like a flawless shield auto of him? I think I saw one of those.
I think I have 3 of them now. Did I tell you they're all raw? I cracked every one of them. I had like a flawless gold at a 10. It was a PSA 10-10, and I cracked it.
Yeah, and like that's something I noticed too is that PC satisfies because you have the binders and now you have the Gurley PC and it satisfies the urge that you have to have really nice cards in raw condition.
Yeah, which I used to love, and then I also like grading. So it's like I don't like the middle ground. Like I either want like a LeBron RPA PSA 10 or I want like a Todd Gurley. You know what I mean? Like it's just so the dichotomy is just so the chasm is so wide.
Yep. Yeah, and that applies to just like having players that you're in the middle ground of collecting. You know, like once you open the door to collecting a player, you really I've had to like remove Purdy cards from my watch list because like I'm not gonna do this. Like I've got 1 foot, 1 toe in the Purdy market, and that's enough.
What's that ringer writer's name?
Steven Ruiz.
Steven Ruiz. He would be like, "Come on, what's your problem, man? Just do it." Just buy it.
You know what? You don't believe? You think he's number 35 too, don't you?
He ranked. I thought he's like wasn't like 21 or something crazy.
He's like in the 20s. Yeah.
And it was like the best is how the stats they choose to show on the website are all 111.
I do enjoy that quite a bit. All right. From 240. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
They need to update those. It says like last updated in February. Come on, Ringer.
Yeah. They can go in there and update that whenever they want. So
does he do that by himself? Or I thought it was like an aggregate of all the people.
I think he's the one moving the levers on that. Yeah.
His grave is that shovel he's using is.
He's doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on it too so many times now that even in the Super Bowl he's just like, you know, meh.
I think his hands are getting blisters from the shovel. Have you seen the movie Holes? He's that movie.
I have not seen Holes.
I've seen it.
Have you read the book too?
It was a Disney movie, like from the early 2000s, where they go to like it's like a prison camp or something.
It's like a kids reform.
Camp.
It's like for kids.
Yeah, like a bad teen camp.
I think I remember the movie poster of like a bunch of dirt mounds.
Yes.
Yes.
And they're treasure hunting.
Yeah,
but they don't know that. They think it's punishment, and then they find out that like they're treasure hunting for the guy who runs it.
Got it. All right, next question here.
Do not Google image polls, by the way.
From 240 Cards, question for Chris. The other week I heard you nonchalantly call Superfractors and Black Finite the premier cards over PMGs, Credentials, and Rubies. Not saying you were wrong, but can you spark up a discussion between them? I'm guessing you're valuing the one-of-one aspect and the lineage over time. However, 90s are imitated in design that really hasn't been surpassed. The 90s started serial numbering and really laid the ground on what a card can be. So, hold on, I need to jot down a title here.
He caught that? I thought you guys didn't hear me.
No, I heard you.
Damn it. It's one of those ones I wish I could pull back.
That's just good advice for all. Okay. So the topic here is Superfractors and Black Finites versus PMGs. Yeah, it really just does come down to the one-of-one dimension of these cards. And I agree. I think that you don't get to we never end up having Black Finite one-of-ones and Topps Chrome Superfractors if we don't first have red PMGs to 90, Credentials, which are variable numbered, and Rubies out of 50. We needed those things to get to these things. And I do think that the 90s one-of-ones are the true, let me qualify this, 90s standard size cardboard sports cards that are numbered one-of-one and belong to a checklist of a fully licensed product. Those items are very rare in the 90s. I think that they are super underrated. But one of the problems that they have is that they don't come from the most coveted brands. Like there's not until 1998-99 did we get a PMG Gem Master one-of-one, which I think an argument could be made that that's the best card of the 90s. I don't disagree with all these aspects of the 90s. I think they really build up what the 90s are. But I think that the way I would settle this question is this. If in 1997, let's just take Tim Duncan cards, because that was Tim Duncan's rookie year. If Tim Duncan, which he does, had a PMG red out of 90, a PMG green out of 10, and a Star Rubies out of 50, and he had a Topps Chrome Superfractor one-of-one, and he had a Prism Black Finite one-of-one, how would the market value those items? And so however you answer that question, I think what should follow is whichever one is higher valued is probably that would be good evidence for which one is the better card. It doesn't always work that way. The most expensive one doesn't need to be the best one. But I think people would cover the Topps Chrome Superfractor one-of-one Tim Duncan the most, personally. All right. Let's see here. How about this one from Bleecker Street Cards? We're starting to go into we're starting to go into left field. Bleecker Street Card says, "Would you rather be feared or loved?"
That's it.
That's it.
Feared.
Feared. Okay. All right.
I don't need a wish. I already know I am feared.
From Perimeter Collectibles. What
Did
are?
you answer that?
Did I answer that?
Yes.
Feared or loved? Let's go with loved, just so that it's not a sweep.
It's a bullshit shit answer.
I don't know. I don't care. A question like that, I don't. What is such? Why would I answer that? Why would I ever think about that? All right. I'm way more interested in the finer points of why the superfractor is better than the PMG. All right.
You're the one who asked us the question. Like you asked Josh and I. No, but like you asked Josh and I these questions.
Yeah.
Like, and then you just like move on as if like you get like I didn't know abstaining from answering the question.
Abstention is always in play.
Okay, good to know.
Abstention.
There's one thing I know about Chris. He'll never make you do anything.
That is right.
False. He makes me work all the time.
He'll never make me do anything I don't want to do.
That's right. I that is a philosophy, man. That's feared, loved, or professionally relaxing. And I vote for professional relaxation. All right. Perimeter Collectibles would like to know, what are your thoughts on Brax ball cards leaving the hobby?
I'm surprised it took this long.
Yeah, and was he even in the hobby to begin with? Like, prove to me that...
He wrote a book on the hobby.
No, prove to me this person cares to collect the cards. We don't even know who this person is. They were anonymous the whole time.
He wrote the first book of this era on the hobby. How about that?
I just can't believe the dedication and time spent on a joke eventually is going to wear off.
It is. And he had a good run. I commend him for exiting the stage. There always is a temptation to linger.
How do we know that he left the hobby?
He deleted his page and he wrote a message saying he's done. The time has come.
See ya.
It was a life well lived.
Was it?
Was it?
We have from Hoops. Hoops Hobby would like to know, who is better, Bronny James or Jaylen Brown?
At what?
At talking shit while sitting courtside.
Someone said that Bronny had a good game or something recently?
Yeah, he had like 13 points in his last game.
The thing that I saw was that he actually had a better first 3 games than Jaylen Brown did during Summer League. Supposedly, Bronny was 6 of 26,
and Jaylen was 5 of 26.
Yeah.
Oh. And like, I'm pretty sure the players drafted like around Bronny, late second round, are also struggling.
Yeah.
Like, the expectation of a late second rounder is already super low. Those guys barely make a team.
Right.
Yeah, but...
And I think we cast this admonition a few weeks ago before Summer League started. There is almost nothing to be learned from Summer League. Almost nothing. Good or bad. If there can be bad players who play well, and it doesn't matter, and there can be good players who play poorly, and it doesn't matter.
Would you?
I think... Go ahead.
No, mine's a different topic. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think if you're going to actually ask the question of who talks shit better, it would not be Jaylen Brown, because he walked it back like immediately because he didn't want to piss off LeBron.
He wasn't talking shit even. If you watch the video clip, he's sort of like saying it like, yeah, I don't know, I don't think he's NBA. It wasn't like he was talking shit. He's just like, yeah, sorry, bud.
Yeah. All right. What did you have next, Josh?
I just, like, who cares about this Bronny thing? I'm just like, let LeBron have his son on the team. Who cares? They have 14 guys on the roster or whatever. He's not going to play anyways, the roster spot. Just let him travel with his kids. It's fine. The guy's like 20 years in the NBA. Just let him have this one thing.
It's a topic that's been just beaten to death. Nobody, I could be wrong about this, but I don't think many people would even think twice about it if it wasn't a constant talking point for Skip Bayless and TV heads and Twitter content creators who are just engagement farming, and they're fishing for clicks off of the James name.
It's like the topic of, like, should the Cowboys re-sign Dak Prescott? Like, how many times can you talk about this? He was like, I'm so sick of all these same topics on these shows.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's really brutal. And then people like, will work themselves up into making some valid points about like that's a spot that maybe was denied to a more qualified player. But let's see. We don't know where he would have been drafted in a natural in an experiment which we can't run, where LeBron is not his father and Rich Paul is not his agent telling people not to draft him. We have no idea where he would have actually been drafted, and like we can probably hold back on that until let's see how he looks after year 2 or year 3. Let's see, is he in China playing or is he on an NBA roster?
Plus, don't teams draft like European guys that don't even come over? They're just like they'll stash him for 3 years. Didn't Jokic do that?
Jokic got stashed. Yeah, he got stashed for a year.
So like some of these are just flyer picks. Some, obviously it worked out for Jokic, but it usually does not work out. Those late second rounds, it's just so rare.
Yeah.
Well, I think the difference there is the ones that get stashed and the ones that don't work out don't get guaranteed money before they even play Summer League.
Yeah.
And I think that's what pisses people off. Like, you want, like, okay, LeBron wants to play with his kid, then, like, you take the fucking pay cut and you pay your kid, like, from your pay structure.
He kind of did.
He did. He didn't take a max. His contract's 4 years, $8 million, and LeBron's pay cut was more than that.
Yeah. All right.
4 years, $8 million. That's like nothing in the NBA.
By the end of that deal, people are going to be saying he's a steal.
No, come on. It's going to be nothing. Like, he's not going to be in the NBA in 3 years. Like, it's just, he's not, it's fine. It's just, this is what it is. He's just a standard late second round pick.
Yeah. Yep. All right. From Pax that Slab. This is another question reminiscent of the 2021 time. Pax that Slab says, I cannot afford the top cards of my favorite player. Should I start collecting Russell Westbrook instead? So, like, we lived through this. We all, I think you, I, listeners of this show, other collectors we know, everybody had to cope with high prices and still are having to cope with it. And so, like, you go to more obscure, lesser-known brands of the players that you like, or you pick new, much cheaper players to collect. And, like, we now have the vantage point of, like, being 2, 3. I mean, I started McCaffrey PC in 2020. It's like 4 years removed from that. And I wonder, what is your vantage point on making that type of pivot, having, a few years of hindsight?
To pivoting to cheaper players?
Yeah.
I think it's fun. Westbrook's has been a fun one to me. I just feel like he's, at this point, everyone hates him. He's just like getting tossed around. He's on like his 9th team or whatever. This would be a great time to start. If you've liked him always, it makes sense to jump in. What do you think about him on the Nuggets?
I like it. Their bench now is like Dario Saric is the center on their bench. Westbrook is the point guard. Julian Strother, who's a second-year player, is a shooting guard. Like, their bench unit 5 years ago might have won like 33 games in the East. Like, there's a little bit of something there. Like, those guys are not bad players, Saric and Westbrook. So,
yeah, I like that tier of like older player who peaked at a really high peak MVP level, top 5 in the NBA level peak, and now like everyone hates him. It's just like it's a fun lane to occupy.
Yeah. And it's like the fear I have for all the players I player collect who are active is when they enter their twilight of their career, and like I just can't listen to fucking podcasts anymore because it's just going to be Bill Simmons or whoever just like trashing them until they retire. Not looking forward to that time. But Westbrook is a former MVP, and I think he wants to try and win a ring. And he has some weird friendship with Jokic, which like enabled this.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And DeAndre Jordan was a big facilitator as well, who's a friend of Westbrook. Nice. And Malone is a pretty good coach for Westbrook. Like, Malone was able to handle DeMarcus Cousins, who's way more of a loose cannon.
Bones Highland.
Bones Highland, yep. So I think it's pretty cool. I think he's going to be the best bench player they've had since Bruce Brown.
I never can see why you could hate Westbrook. Like, it's not like he's shooting a poor percentage on purpose. You can never discredit his effort.
Facts. Hope it works out. All right.
He also is one of those like Jimmy Butler type guys. Like he's like really meticulous about like what time he shows up and like working hard and like he doesn't like to fuck around. Like
that's true.
So I think he'll work well with Jokic in that regard. For like he'll set a good atmosphere. Like he'll continue to set a good atmosphere for the bench that Jokic already brings to the team.
Very true.
I think people really confuse how specific players and some coaches treat the media versus how they are as real people. Like him and Popovich, they're just like really prickly with the media, and they just like have no patience for it. So they come across as like this rude, short-tempered guy. But like everything I've heard about Westbrook off the court is that he's like family man, very nice guy. The fact he's getting along with random players like Jokic, like he's obviously a nice guy that people want to be around.
Yeah.
He lived out the movie Love and Basketball with his wife.
Yeah.
She was a UCLA women's basketball star, and he was a UCLA men's basketball star.
All right. From Staggered Daggers, does Caitlin Clark deserve some MVP talk yet? How about even some murmurs? Okay, so listen. I looked up the MVP odds for the WNBA this season. Where do you think Caitlin ranks? Does she have the best odds, second best odds, 20th best odds? What do you think?
I Googled it, but I haven't seen the results yet. I'm going to say, I don't know, like 11th or 12th or something like that.
Very reasonable guess. Fourth?
I'm saying fourth.
She had, here are the odds.
Just because, I just looked at your screen. But I'm going to say, I just want to justify this before I,
no need.
Okay.
First is Asia Wilson, minus 3,000. Okay. Huge favorite.
Minus 3,000?
Yeah. Which is going to put her in a tie for the most MVPs in WNBA history.
This thing I'm looking at says minus 5,000. So.
Oh, my God. Well, okay, I got this from FanDuel as of like 2 hours
ago. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, though.
Number 2 is Sabrina Ionescu, plus 6,500. So
a close second.
Yeah. And then, but tied for third, Caitlin Clark, plus 8,500.
I went off of like what I know her stats are and the team's winning record, but apparently that doesn't
normal things. Yeah, normal things to go off of. Losing record, 4 games under 500, 7th seed, and not really top in any advanced category.
But the reason I said fourth, which was pretty fucking on point since she's tied for third, is because people who don't know the sport and aren't actually watching are probably still putting money on her.
Right.
So like she's jumping.
A public bet.
Yeah, she's jumping like 20 through 5 because people know her name.
Does she lead?
Could be.
Yeah. Does she lead the WNBA in assists?
I don't know. I know.
She does.
Okay, that's she had a 19 assist game the other day, which is the most ever.
That's like some Chris Paul shit.
Yeah.
She did it. She did it in Minnesota, and they asked her about it, and like, does it mean something since that's where Bird played? And she was like, no, not really. I probably won't even remember.
Okay, and can the 19 assist game, which is the most in WNBA history in a single year, can that stop the Steph Curry comp? Can we just stop that?
Yeah.
Steph Curry is. I think that the NBA comp for most assists in a game is like 30 from Scott Skiles or something. Like that. Steph Curry isn't dishing out league record assists. It's just not his game.
What did he? Let me see if he averages 6.4 in his career, and she's got 8.2.
Yeah, she is.
Games are shorter, right?
Yeah, they are, but she plays a lot of minutes too. But they just have completely different games. It just kills me. And Stephen A. Smith is like, "Oh, Steph Curry."
Are you impressed with her?
I am. Yeah, I am impressed with her.
Like, given that she's a rookie and all the shit that's been happening and all the talk about her. Like, she's kind of lived up to it.
Yeah, she has lived up to it. She's turned that team around. That team is significantly better than they were last year, and they've beaten some really, really good teams. I honestly thought she wasn't gonna quite live up to it, just because her college stats were amazing, but they were volume stats. The efficiency was just a little bit behind the most efficient players in college, but her game is totally translated. It's so crazy to have the most assists in a game in WNBA history as a rookie. This league didn't start yesterday. This league's been around for 5 years or whatever.
Who's her NBA comp?
Who is her NBA comp? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of Halliburton. She has in her game. It has to be a player who can pass and who can an on-ball point guard who primarily creates their own shots and off the dribble and primarily creates shots for others through passing. And that is the opposite of Steph Curry, a player who primarily plays off the ball,
right?
A player who primarily has shots created by running off of screens, a player who primarily spots up as a spot-up shooter and is not being asked to be an offensive facilitator. That's Draymond. That's other players are ones who are orchestrating the offense and, you go here, you come off the screen, I'll pass to you, etc. They don't play. It has to be a point guard who is Clark's comp, a true on-ball point guard.
But someone who also prefers to shoot the three ball. Halliburton shoots a lot of threes.
He does, and he shoots it quite well too.
She has a lot of turnovers. That's bad.
Yeah.
Her 3-point percentage is bad.
Yep.
Her field goal percentage is really bad. 5.6 turnovers per game. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of those, I'm going to be honest, especially in the beginning of the season, her team's getting better around her. But a lot of those at the beginning of the season were she was throwing amazing passes, and her team was literally just letting them go out of bounds or getting intercepted because they just stood there like statues.
Her usage rate is only 24.8.
That's pretty low.
Yeah. And she's got a positive assist to turnover ratio, 1.5.
Yeah. That's good.
Plays a lot of minutes.
She does. She definitely plays a lot of minutes. I mean, they're going to be, if the playoffs started today, they wouldn't even be the lowest seed.
Her net rating's -7.
That is not good. But they're the 7th seed, and they just beat one of the best teams, Minnesota.
I remember I used to play fantasy basketball pretty heavy, and I was always into the rookies because people just never draft rookies high, and I drafted Kevin Durant really high. But with rookies, you always had to, in fantasy, you always had to put up with a poor field goal percentage. I feel like the rookie year is just where you're just trying to find your spots on the floor and where the game is different than college, and your field goal percentage just suffers the worst from it. So I feel like she'll improve that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would struggle to think of a rookie a true young rookie who shot a high field goal percentage. Maybe David Robinson did or something, but he was a little bit older.
He's huge. He's a center.
Yeah, and he's a center, obviously.
What was Luka's field goal percentage?
Not good. Definitely the worst of his career as rookie year.
Yeah. And LeBron and KD's were terrible.
Yeah. It's very typical to shoot poorly your first year, for sure.
You can go to the next question.
Well, this next question, I hope you do.
40. He shot 43%. Now he shoots 49.
Yeah, that's a massive difference. You can keep maybe switch over to Football Reference for this next question, because
you got it.
The question asker does have an issue with something you said.
The Brett Favre thing.
From that, not Brett Favre, but from that question, the tree of topics that came from that question.
Someone tagged me that Brett Favre is amazing, and I don't even remember what I said about Brett Favre.
Yeah, that's the same. I was like, yeah, you made some really good points. What did we say?
I think we were talking about how it was like assumed that the players from the 90s were just automatically better than today. And I was trying to bring them closer, not necessarily disparage the 90s guys.
Exactly. All right. Well, anyway, let's get to this because a lot of thought was put into this from Prison Mike PC. Can we discuss how much better of a quarterback Troy Aikman was than Joe Flacco? Because apparently you may have said or implied that Flacco was better than Aikman.
The fact that you have to make that argument kind of proves my point.
All right, well, here's what he has to say. If you use the rings argument, Troy is a 3-time Super Bowl winner, a Super Bowl MVP, a 6-time Pro Bowler, and a completion percentage leader in 1993. Also, Football Reference's career advanced passing stats, like adjusted net yards per attempt, are better. Joe Flacco was a Super Bowl MVP, but he was never in a Pro Bowl. He had one good postseason, which is his claim to fame. As many Hall of Famers as Troy had on offense, the argument can be made that he helped them as much as they helped him with his quick release and great resiliency and accuracy. And he definitely helped Michael Irvin and created a balance for Emmitt Smith. Flacco benefited by having 2 Hall of Famers on defense. I mentioned this as a balance for the argument that Troy's team was stacked. Okay, there is the argument for Troy Aikman over Joe Flacco. Do you have any thoughts?
I do not. Troy Aikman is a better quarterback than Joe Flacco.
And you know what? That's what I told our friend Prison Mike. I said, I don't think Josh was saying that Joe Flacco is like definitively better than Troy Aikman.
I think the point I was trying to make is that the depth of today's quarterback is a lot better than people want to think. Like Joe Flacco is like a nobody, and he's got insane passing yard numbers, and he's won a Super Bowl MVP, and like it's a very competitive space. Definitely.
All right. We only have just a few questions left here.
Let's do it.
So Kevin M. Cormier says, if that guy with the MJ Fleer rookies had the PSA rep witness MJ write, I love mashed potatoes on one of the cards rather than signing it, does that just get labeled altered? Or does the fact that MJ wrote anything at all get authenticated even if it's not his autograph?
I saw you like this question, so let's hear it.
I did like this question, and I do think that maybe we need a little bit of a firmer definition of when a foreign substance comes onto a card, whether it's a spray or ink. When that foreign substance hits that card, what is the rule that determines whether it's an alteration or it isn't? And This question is pointing at that rule isn't clear, and Kevin came up with a hypothetical that tests the rule. What if MJ was signing one card and there was another card next to it of him that he had no intention of signing, but ink from the one he was signing flew off the pen and landed on the other one? Is that card altered?
He's using like a quill and ink kind of deal, and it's spraying everywhere.
Yeah, the quill was too wet, and the ink flew.
Well, I don't think you want my take on this because it's all IP autos are altered cards.
Yeah. Yep.
So basically, like, you have to write your name. Is that what we're saying? You got to write your name on it, your autograph, your signature, your John Hancock.
But then you get to the inscriptions, and what if MJ signed his name, then he put the inscription, give me a call, Scotty. We're reaching out to Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, like,
is that a valid inscription or is it altered?
Finish the game, Scotty. Don't take yourself out because you're not getting to play.
I'll tell your ex-wife at Christmas you said hi.
All right. Good question.
Hope your back's feeling better.
I would like to. It would be nice if there. It would be nice if there was a rule to let us know when writing on a card does become an alteration and not an authenticatable. I don't know if that's a word. Autograph and inscription. Okay. this question rears. This topic has really captivated some people.
The MJ thing?
No, this is a new one from Simply Cards 2014. Of the following Wemby-based Prism options, which would you rather have? All right. PSA 10.
I already know what the is.
Yeah, okay. PSA 10, population 16,000. Or PSA 3, population 1. PSA 1 and PSA 2 are also Pop 1. And there are 3 PSA authentic cards.
Here's
You remember
the
this?
reason.
You remember this? This is a top. Yeah.
Okay. The reason the answer is still the PSA 10 is because I can just make a PSA 1 if I really wanted to. Right. I can just shove it in my shorts and walk around the National and drop it off a PSA, and now I got a 1.
Well, it may be altered as well in that case.
That was a strategy employed by some people at National.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. If you knock yourself out on the PSA 3.
Pop 3, huh? That's pretty low.
Pop 1 on the PSA.
Pop 1 on PSA 3. Was that yours? Every time you send in an order, you get that 1-3.
Yeah. Little did I know that was actually the best card each time.
There's no way the PSA 3 would sell for more than the 10, right?
I want to say that I have the faith in this hobby.
until you heard about the CT scans, and now you're not sure.
This is not the hill I would die on. It would not shock me it would not totally shock me if a well-marketed PSA 3 Wemby Prism base with Pop 1 and maybe a few Instagram reels promoting it, if that card sold for $200 and the PSA 10s are around 120.
So if you sent that card to Probstein, would you have to tell him do not put in the subtitle to say that it's undergraded? I want it to be this graded.
Do not say looks nicer.
Yeah, I wanted to say it looks worse, in fact.
Looks exactly like a 3.
Fits nicely into that Pop 1 category.
All right, from Bacher Board. With gem rates rising, will grading modern cards eventually become unnecessary? Everything is 10s.
Mm-mm. That's like that sounds like some boardroom meeting dream. What if we just got all the cards manufactured as 10s?
Right.
Like we encased them or something, and we were our own grading company as we manufacture them, and they're just 10s.
Yep. Yeah, there's always going to be a need for grading at least certain cards because authenticity and the provenance of the date on which it was graded matters.
Right.
And independent of condition, those things matter.
What does PSA stand for?
Professional Sports Authenticator.
Authenticator,
yeah.
Right.
And, dude, I can assure you, even ultra modern, these are not all 10s.
Right.
But the question says gem rates are rising, so if that is the case, then I see where you're coming from.
That's the case because people are just grading them sooner than ever.
Yeah. Okay. From WTF Frankie Podcast, what are your thoughts on Arena Club? It is a marketplace, it is a grading company, and it is a repack seller all in one. So I followed up with Frankie and I said, well, what are your thoughts? Why are you raising this topic? And the response basically was, there's some concern about the same company grading cards under their own brand and then putting them into repacks right alongside other grading companies. And it might create some confusion or create the illusion that all these grading companies are equivalent and all their numerical grades are equivalent when they're not. These are grading companies with vastly different market share, histories, legacies, and grading standards, possibly even. So I guess the question is sort of about is there a big concern about the conflict of interest of one company having a marketplace, being a grading company, and being a repack seller? Yeah, it's late. It's late for this question.
I don't really have much of an opinion on Arena Club.
Yeah, me neither. My hobby path never crosses with Arena Club's path.
Well, it does with Cage.
With Cage, that's true. Okay, this is Cage's showroom. Let's go. Was that an Iverson?
We got some stuff.
Okay.
I was looking at you get to, if you grade it with their grading company or with their service, the fee is lower and they'll vault it for free.
Got it.
I think it's $10 if you grade it and vault it together, a raw card. I don't have an opinion. I have no idea. I don't know anything about it.
Same. I can't work myself up to feel strongly about this one way or the other, just because it doesn't cross my hobby path, and I personally don't. It certainly wouldn't confuse or trick me if a repack had like an Arena Club and a PSA slab. I certainly know the difference, but novices don't. So, but it's Arena Club. It's like it's their company. Like if they want to put their own slabs, their own repacks, and they fully disclose that, I don't know if there's much you can do.
I would probably judge them the same as a grading company if they didn't have the other stuff. Like I'm still going to look at the top reports, the history and grading, the prevalence with which they hand out 10s, etc. Like that stuff still stands even without the other features.
All right, we're down to 3 questions from Wookie. Yeah, from Wookie Hunter. Which presidential candidate will affect card prices the most?
Oh my god. This is just the point of the show where I say, please stop using the guise of your card Instagram account to just pivot into pure politics. Please stop. Make a new one. Call it something politics instead of cards, please.
Should the hobby have a lobby? We lobby Congress to say, whichever one of you can, or we lobby politicians to say, whichever one of you is going to deliver a stronger card market, we will organize votes for you.
No, you have to be more specific like that. You have to say that collectibles should not be taxed. And if you have enough money, you can get a new tax rate for collectibles and most likely sports cards and art. Like we should band together with like art and coins and like comics, and then we should go lobby senators and be like, you should really not tax us at income levels, but at its investment levels when you have gains from your collection.
Yeah.
I just heard the sound of multiple desks rising from finance bros who collect cards at that idea.
I don't get it. Like they have like stand-up, sit-down desks?
Something's pushing the desk up.
Oh.
That's proof of their excitements.
Watch this.
I know what's going to happen right now. Let's go.
Or I'll just have it do it this way.
That's an impressive trick. That's a really impressive. Stiff says it could be called.
No, I'm in charge of lobbying Congress, right?
It would just be another grift. Wow,
Yeah,
that's magic.
I'd really prefer not to mix cards with Congress if it's possible.
I agree. Stiff said it could be called the Collectibles Party.
So are we more like moderate, or are we more like moderate?
I think we're radicals.
I think we only care about that one.
Yeah,
issue,
we are single. We are a single issue party. The tax rate on coins.
Single issue party.
And we
cards in Congress 911.
We have a 1-point plan. Taxes are too damn high.
I think people are going to make us pick a side like immediately. That's how politics work. You have to pick a side and you have to hate the other side and you got to just be really angry.
We will be, if true to the hobby, we will be unabashedly for sale.
Yeah, like
whoever can bribe us the most.
Like, no, we're the lobby. We're the ones bribing. Like, that's what you guys are for.
We're a reverse lobby. We get bribed.
That's not
we're just sitting at a table being like, we're taking bribes.
And we can organize a lot. We're like labor union leaders.
Yeah.
Come to the card letter, go to the national and sign my petition. We're starting this.
That's right. You want vote? How many votes swung like Wisconsin last election? Like 20,000. We can raise 100,000 votes at the national, but you have to pay us up.
The vote is like who wants no taxes, and we're just like 100% to 0. It's an easy vote.
That's right. That's right. Incorporate this into your platform. All right. The final 2 questions, but they talk about the same topic, so really it's just one.
Read them together.
First, from Goudy Gum.
So you have to read like one word from each one.
That will not make any sense. That won't make sense.
But it's good.
The first one from Goudy Gum. Does the fact that Michael Rubin has 0 athletic ability change your Fanatics outlook? And then from Circa Rave, who is the better athlete, Michael Rubin or Darren Ravel? So I want to say this first. Michael Rubin knowingly released multiple videos of himself throwing baseballs, swinging a bat. Darren Ravel has released videos of himself dressed up in football uniforms and running the 40-yard dash. So this is fair. All right. These guys obviously are having some fun and putting themselves out there. And I just wonder, does this have any impact on your confidence in Fanatics?
It makes absolutely no difference.
Yep.
Did you saw the Rubin one?
I did. I saw the one that is less seen. So like many people have seen the baseball throwing one, right? Where he's like on the radar and
you call it throwing, I call it something else.
What do you call it?
Moving the ball out of his hand towards another object.
But the one that not as many have seen is Rubin taking batting practice.
How'd that go?
About the same.
Got it.
About the same. Him swinging a baseball bat is probably what I would look like swinging a golf club. Just absolutely no concept of how it's supposed to work.
It's always a pretty good move to make fun of yourself.
It is.
It's usually a good move, especially when you're in like the business side. You're like, look, leave the sports to the athletes, leave the business. He's got that line ready to go, I'm sure. It's always a good play.
Just reassuring the athletes, he has absolutely no threats to
right, exactly.
His field of dominance.
Your guys' contracts are safe. I will stick to the business side and the jerseys.
Won't be given any pointers on what pitch to throw.
Yeah, he's like, you really need to choke up on your bat more, and they're like, I'm always amazed though at the first pitches from like athletes from different sports, and nobody can do it.
Yeah. I mean, Caleb Williams' baseball performance was very underwhelming as well.
And he's a quarterback. He throws a ball for a living.
He does. Yeah, he does. Josh Allen definitely had some baseball chops.
Yeah.
And Mahomes does too. I haven't seen Mahomes like doing anything in the offseason, but he was a high-level baseball player. So was Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, not Caleb Williams though. Bill Simmons had a podcast about this a few years ago with an author who was advocating the point of view that to become better at your sport in the off season of your sport, you should play other sports. Teaches you ways to think.
That's a youth thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Caleb Williams wasn't playing other sports.
That's a youth thing. I mean, the two, LeBron and MJ, they both played other sports.
Yeah. Yep. All right. That's all the questions. And I can't remember last time we got through all the questions. That's good. And obviously, there's not going to be a crossover next week.
We're not going to talk to people until we're after national and like mid-Olympics.
Yeah. True. Yeah. A lot will have happened.
Let's go.
Safe travels to Cleveland, everyone.
Wait, we have to pick a title.
Oh.
You forgot?
Oh.
Yeah, she probably has to go to the bathroom, but doesn't want to walk behind the camera.
No.
In our office downstairs.
Well, she's got to stay off camera. That's the that's the play.
That's the play.
Yeah.
Be off camera.
She has definitely been off camera all episode. I have not called you on once, have I?
No.
It's super weird though. I do not see a ping pong table. I'm confused.
Not yet, but Amazon had those that Black Friday deal.
Prime
or
Day.
whatever. Prime Day. Sorry, Prime Day.
Prime Day. Don't worry. I charge it to the company.
My wife was like, "What do we do if the Prime Day ends and we didn't get everything?" That was like, "It's fine. It's Amazon. It's
No.
always on sale. This is just the
Do
trick."
you know that people actually like created carts? It's a like actual thing. Like people are very upset at Amazon. People created carts the day before Prime Day so they could get the deals, and they took screenshots of how much it was going to be and like what the price was, and the prices went up on Prime Day, but they called it deals. So like people are like revolting Amazon right now. All the like granola moms are like super upset about
Granola?
this. Granola mom?
What's a granola mom?
They're like healthy, like health nut moms.
Like an avocado toast person?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why are they moms though? Can I be a granola dad?
You could be a granola dad. I just see them, the granola moms on like Instagram and TikTok and stuff.
Is this like the new soccer mom?
No, they're different than soccer moms.
All right. Let's pick a name for this episode.
Granola moms are super upset.
Yep, that's a late entrance.
I like late entries.
Yep. There's still time for a name to pop up while we're choosing the name. I don't know if that's ever
We're all
happened.
just like, God, come on.
All right. First up, are there even sports right now?
Olympics. I'm excited about
Yep.
Olympics. I'm not sure if you guys are.
Yep.
I am.
Yeah, I mean, a couple people were upset that I didn't recap ESPN's top 100 for soccer. And I only did it for NHL, MLB, NFL, and NBA. And I said, well, I didn't do it for the WNBA or track and field or swimming or tennis. And the guy replied, oh, that's a low blow. So everybody thinks that their sport is somewhere above other sports.
I have issues with like the Olympic sport people like crowding up the top 10 because those sports are like super technical, and once you're the fastest person at them, you're just gonna win every race.
Right.
Because it's just like Usain Bolt, who's like he's gonna win because he's faster. Right. Like it's not like whereas basketball and football, there's way more randomness and skill involved.
Well, like have someone playing defense on Usain Bolt, and then I'll be excited that like he wins every time, right? Because like Michael Phelps is fighting water. Like, okay, congratulations.
Can do a sport that convinces 20,000 to 80,000 people to pay hundreds of bucks every week or every other day to watch it all year long.
And not just every 4 years.
And not just every 4 years.
Yeah, so Phelps just has to show up once every 4 years, and now he's the best athlete of the century? What the heck?
It's just crazy. I mean, the blurb on Phelps was very impressive, but all the people on that list had impressive blurbs.
I went to that list because I'm always used to seeing MJ above LeBron. I'm like, yes, I'm going to win one of these damn things because MJ didn't play, and he didn't. He only played like a couple years. And I'm going to win, and I go in his fourth.
And then you have to look at Messi.
Michael, who is second? Phelps, and then
Serena.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, let's not break down that list. People hated that list.
They did it
I
on
hated that list.
purpose. That's what that was.
That's why I just said, okay, fine. But like, there were some very like one example of why that list was weird. They had Dwayne Wade ranked higher than Kevin Durant on that list. But if you go to the top 75 of all time, Durant is like a solid 15 spots ahead of Wade, if not.
I think I saw Kevin Garnett really, really high.
Garnett was really high. Garnett was higher than all of them.
Did I make...
Jason Kidd was on the list. That's how you know that whole list was bullshit.
I saw. I was like scrolling and like, yeah. Like, what the fuck is Kevin Garnett doing up here? I just was like, that was the one that really jumped out at me.
Yeah, dude. Kevin Garnett was ahead of people with more championships, more finals MVPs, and more regular season MVPs.
Why do they have to do them in these chunks? Just let me see the whole fucking list. God damn it.
Dude, they always got to chunk it out for the clicks.
Like videos and just give me the goddamn list.
Yeah. Not a fan of that list. Not a fan of the concept of that list.
You were like the way that you produced the content, it was like, wow, the 4 major sports are getting kind of boned here. This is weird.
It is
like,
weird.
What more could Tom Brady have done to crack the top 4? The guy won like he started in 2000. It was like perfectly lined up for him, and he dominated the most popular sport in America, and he's still 5. He's impossible to be top 4 if you're a football player.
Yeah, being the greatest football player of all time, gets you tucked 4 spots behind Michael Phelps. That's great.
Phelps has got it made. He's got it figured out. Swimming.
And just like his name, like I haven't thought about Michael Phelps in a long time. And then boom, there he is. All right.
He started in 2000. I think it was his first Olympics, right?
Yeah. All right. So we had Are There Sports right now? 7126, which is our booth number.
Oh, I was like, what is that?
7126. 7126. Then you have Professional Relaxers.
Simone Biles.
I'm putting a star by Professional Relaxers.
How is Federer ranked ahead of Novak Djokovic? I explained this to you. Djokovic has way better numbers.
It's because of the vaccine controversy.
Oh gosh, you're right. That's so annoying.
Yeah, that's why Aaron Rodgers is down at 91.
Dude, Chris, there's 4 tennis players in the top 12.
Must be a great sport. I don't know what to say to that.
I like tennis, but...
All right. After Professional Relaxers, we have Reason number 729. for reasons to not buy boxes and into breaks.
Okay, I was like, I didn't know that was either.
We have do not Google images holds.
That's a veto.
We have abstention is always in play. We have temptation to linger. Shove it in my shorts.
Dude, if this list is so obsessed with like individual sports and domination, how is Floyd Mayweather at 25? If he's
5, it's crazy.
He's 50-0. He literally has never lost, and he's 25.
Yeah, like the best boxer and all of his stuff. Boxer of his era and his class.
Just by the logic of the way they built the list, he should be like number 2.
Yeah, he should be way up there. Yeah. Yep.
Did Tyson Fury even make the list?
No.
It's like they don't like boxing, but they love tennis. I just don't understand.
I swear, this was paid by the Olympic Commission. That's what it was.
You think like the timing of it?
The timing of it, definitely.
The timing of
it's a fucking hype piece for the Olympics.
Exactly.
Dude,
you nailed it. The Olympics, swimming, like this is.
Yeah, you nailed it.
I don't want to make this like a mental health thing, so please. But Simone Biles, number 7, she literally like left the Olympics last time, and she's number 7 ever. It's like
number 7.
She's back now, Josh.
I know she's really good, and I know she like has all these national titles. We watched the documentary. She's great. But you can't like leave them. You can't like skip an Olympics and still be number 7.
11 spots higher than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and he's like a 3 times. All right, go. I'm so enraged right now, but I just can't even.
The list. I'm so mad. I should not have brought up this stupid list.
You
I
got
like that
me
when you
really.
brought it up, you were like, "We're not going to dissect this list," and then like we keep dissecting it.
It's just a terrible list.
It's a
You nailed it. It's a fucking. It's a hype. It's a pump. It's the Olympic pump.
She's got it right. I think that's exactly what it is now.
Totally an Olympics pump.
That's the name of this show. It's an Olympics pump.
The Olympics pump.
Yep.
Well, then, yeah, we could do that. Is it even a sport right now? That's a good because of the Olympics thing.
Yep. But I think Christina wants to have come up with a title that was come up with during the section where we come up with titles.
What was that again? Read it.
The Olympics pump.
What was the one she had before that though? We joked about the late entry.
Oh, granola moms are super upset.
Do the Olympic pump one.
Yeah, I like the Olympics pump too. That's
how are you gonna? What is it? What are the words exactly?
The Olympics pump.
Perfect.
You should do a metal and then a gas pump.
Oh yes,
okay.
The metal's perfect.
That's good. Oh, okay. Just hear me out.
Yeah.
What if it's a guy swimming? Like, so then it's taking a shot at Michael Phelps being number one.
Okay, but then you
it's not just him.
Gas pump.
It is. It's not just him. It's not just him.
Dude,
okay, a metal and a gas pump.
Dude, all right, here we go. I'm so mad about this list. I don't care that I've taken over the show. Number 1, number 7, number 9 are Olympic athletes. Number 15. Do you think Katie Ledecky is better than Shaq?
I don't even know much about Katie Ledecky at all.
She's better than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, apparently I'm doing sports all wrong.
Kevin Garnett, 23, might be the most ridiculous thing I've ever read.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Okay.
He's ahead of Peyton Manning. What the fuck? Peyton Manning has like 7-time All-Pro, 5-time MVP. Garnett has what, 1 MVP, if that?
Yeah, the Garnett thing is crazy.
I just like, how can you possibly line up? This is not as bad as Daniel Jones being ranked ahead of Purdy, but we're in the vicinity.
We're in the ballpark for sure. And at least like outside of Purdy, there's not a ton objectionable on that list.
How is Randy Moss better than Nikola Jokic?
Dude, Randy Moss was like super. Dude, Aaron Donald is number 20, which like I get it, he's a great player, but like, damn, dude, Aaron Donald over Peyton Manning.
Dwayne Wade is so high.
Dude, he's higher than Durant, but on their top 75 players list, Durant is like 15 spots higher than Wade.
I will never understand baseball. They just like hate Barry Bonds. He has like the most insane statistics. Yeah. It's so ridiculous, his stats.
He gets kind of like, they kind of like say, look, you can only count 8 of Barry Bonds' seasons because this is only 2000 to present.
He'd still have like 4 MVPs, right?
Yeah.
Oh, because of 2000. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So that's why like they're only counting half of his career.
How is Wade better than Durant? You said that already, right?
That's just nuts. That's just nuts. It's just awful. It's really bad.
I just try. Michaela Schifrin, skiing. There's a skiing athlete on this fucking list.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, because
how do you compare?
The Olympics Commission didn't want to like say only summer Olympians are on this list, so they had to add a winter one.
Right.
I couldn't name...
Kobe overrated as well.
Oh, of course. I mean, I didn't want to get into that. But... Just another notch on my belt that LeBron's ranked higher, though. That's all that matters. You know what I was thinking last night when I was laying in bed? I was like, I think Candace Parker is better than Ray Lewis. I just, when I think about those two athletes, I just, the things that Candace Parker did over Ray Lewis were just better.
Yeah. That's you would like this list I heard about ESPN Top 100.
The first UFC fighter is number 66. UFC up in massive rage today.
Who is it?
John Jones, 66.
Yeah, the Floyd Mayweather 25 is nuts.
Also, Tiger Woods at 8?
I just don't even know. I just don't know anything.
How is Simone Biles better than Tiger Woods?
I just that's the Olympics pump.
Messi is better than Brady, obviously.
How we go from Messi, debate. What was that topic we had of Messi a few weeks ago, where like he would have been a midget if not for
Yeah. Steroids.
To the number 3.
Jason Kidd, number 69.
Yeah, and his paragraph is hilarious. It's like Jason Kidd almost won a title as the best player, and he would have if the Lakers dynasty, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, the Spurs dynasty, and Tim Duncan all didn't exist.
I think he's ranked higher on this list than he is in the 75th team NBA list.
Yeah. Jason Kidd's definitely got some like a private PR team that works over.
Basketball has the most on the list.
Yeah.
Track and field has 3.
Basketball had, I think, 16 NBA and 8 WNBA.
Lisa Leslie's on here.
Asia Wilson is on there. I think she's the youngest person on that list, or one of the youngest. She's 27.
Bryce Harper, Andy Murray. Chris Paul's on there.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Somebody was wondering why Allen Iverson didn't make it.
I wasn't wondering that.
Yeah.
Asia Wilson, number 90. She is definitely worse than Annika Sorenstam, right?
I don't even know who that is.
So is the argument that you just wouldn't have made this list because it's ridiculous to try to compare across sport?
That's a strong argument. Or you could make the list but just break it into different sports, but no one's going to click on any of these other sports.
You don't think Darrell Revis is better than Connor McDavid?
Yeah, dude, Darrell Revis just showing up on this list.
They're like, we need they have 3 defensive backs from 96 to 100. They're like, we forgot about defensive backs. We better squeeze them in. Revis 96, Ed Reed 99, Charles Woodson 100.
I mean, Adrian Peterson?
He's not on this list. Well, he hits kids, so.
Also an NFL MVP.
I don't think
there's
not a single running back on this list.
Right. And there's Randy Moss just so high.
He's ahead of Nikola Jokic.
He's like tied with Floyd Mayweather.
The Floyd Mayweather one is weird to me because once I see you've put it in my head that you really value individual sports,
right? With
Phelps, Serena 1-2, and Federer 6, Biles 7, Tiger Woods 8, Usain Bolt 9, and then you're like, you know what? Fuck Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just angry. All right, end the show. I'm so mad about this. Right. Why did you make me look at this stupid thing?
This is the National next week.
CY Card Ladder is the most respected sports card analytics app on the market. We have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history. Easily find recent comps and get a better estimate what your cards are worth. CY Card Ladder is the most trusted and the most reliable sports card analytics app on the market. We know what you want because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors. Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder, constantly innovating. Try it for free. CY Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data. Card Ladder. We're just getting started.